Nowadays, Tasha Edwards lives a good and happy life. But in her younger years, Tasha had many problems.
June just doing all the wrong things in life. She was into crack cocaine. She was into, the drug dealers. I was hanging out with guys. She sold drugs in the house. My name is Tasha, and this is my story. My life before the church was horrible. I was adopted. And I didn't understand my adoptive parents. I didn't understand where they were coming from. I wanted to know who my real mom is and what she did and who she was. And my parents always told me that she wasn't a good person. You don't need to be around her. And I wanted to be around her. I didn't understand. I wanted to know who she was. So I started to rebel. I was hanging out in the streets, hanging out with wrong friends, smoking. June just doing all the wrong things in life.
Tasha was adopted, and when she was a child, she was hanging out with the wrong friends that pushed her to tobacco, alcohol, and other vices.
I went looking and searching, and I found my real mom, and I ended up living with her. And to find out it wasn't the way I needed to be. My parents were right.
I just want to get to know you.
In her teens, Tasha wanted to meet her biological mother, and it turned out that she was hooked to worse vices, cocaine and crack. Despite that, Tasha stayed at her house and witnessed the depraved lifestyle her mother lived every single day.
So I was hanging out with friends who smoked and thought it was cool, and then when I got to go see her and who she was and be around her, she still smoked. So I thought it was even more cool.
Obviously, that environment was not a good influence for Tasha, as she kept smoking more and more.
And there was other times where she did pull me into certain other lifestyle with drug dealers and stuff like that. 3 years ago, she had introduced me to this guy and said, drug people stuff. If you need your phone bill paid, if you want a real man, this is a man that can take care of you. This is a man that can pay for this and pay for that and do this. And he was no good. She only did that for him to be around so she can get her crack. And one time, one of her friends disliked her for something. Something might not happen the way it was supposed to happen, so they ratted her out. They said she sold drugs in the house, so the police was watching the house.
Over time, Tasha had to deal with the consequences of that life and had her first encounter with the police.
Police, everyone.
And one night, I just came home from work, and I come in the house and I just changed my clothes, and there's a whole bunch of police in the house. So everybody had to go to jail. First time I went to jail all because of somebody else's.
Eventually, that lifestyle sent Tasha to prison for some time. There, she had time to think and decided that she had to change her life if she wanted to survive and be happy, but she didn't know how to do it.
It took me 2 weeks when I was in jail to even realize what's going on. I just started to break down and cry. I was like, why did I do this to myself? Why did I get myself in this place? Why did I have to go so hard to go nowhere, I started to just think about my life.
After that event, Tasha wanted to leave that kind of life and tried to convince her mother, but none of them were able to escape their own addictions.
I realized what my parents were saying was right, and no matter how much I wanted to change the situation, I couldn't change the situation because that person didn't want it to change. It was devastating. It was like, what did I be rude to my parents or rebellious to my parents for, and to come to nothing, you're not even trying, you didn't try. And I'm walking down the street and this lady really hands me a paper.
After leaving jail, a kind woman showed Tasha a chance for redemption.
So I read the paper and it was like, do you feel like you have bad luck, depression, bad spirits? And I was like, wow, okay, maybe I'll go on a Friday to the church. I don't like how my life is going. I feel very depressed, so I'll give it a try.
The voice of faith brings the certain sweet God.
So I gave it a try and I started to see changes. The first time I went was on a Friday, and Fridays is deliverance. and it opened my mind. I definitely saw the change in me, and I saw where I was and where I could be if it wasn't for God, and where I am now and where I will be due to God. You don't have to choose the negative life. You don't have to choose smoking. You don't have to party. You don't have to drink to feel good, to feel happy, to think that you're gonna overcome your depression, your anxiety, whatever you go through. That's not the way. Walking through the doors of University Church gave me a way to build my faith, use what God gave us to use, There is a God out there. There's a God, and He's loving, He's caring, and He's here to change your life, help you be the person that you are designed to be.
Thanks to the intelligent faith, Tasha is now a new woman, living a healthy and fulfilled life.
The voice of faith brings the certain sweet God.